I've got a web series called PN and Friends that's connected to an NFT project that we use to promote the web series and to promote the brand of PN and the PN universe. And basically, in short, it's about a man child who's just trying to be a man. It kind of started out as like sort of like a Curb Your Enthusiasm meets like sort of like, South Park meets like urban comedy, hip hop stuff, but then it kind of evolved with me adding like my kind of interests like anime, comic books, and all that stuff. And then it's kind of evolved into like this weird superhero dork. And like we satire like multiverses, we satire like pop culture and stuff like that. So yeah, so it kind of like fit with like and the whole NFT space where it's kind of like digital collectibles. So we're using that to like expand the story and also expand the IP as well, intellectual property. So that's cool.
Cool.
The universe is like the PN and also the big like the story itself. Like so basically with the end like so basically we make fun of like multiverses because that's like it's kind of weird to me how like the idea of alternate universes is just like so mainstream where like a show like Loki, people are like, oh yeah, you mean the Loki variants? Like that shows you how I don't know if you know the term like postmodernism or but like the idea of how like everything's sort of like so ironic and so like we're so we're so ahead of like what's going on like we're everything's so like heady that like everyone just like these abstract terms is almost like mainstream like even like string theory even though that's still like incomprehensible to most people they still might get an idea or an inkling of it. So like when I first heard about like I don't know have you ever heard of NFTs
Yeah.
or yeah. So when I first heard of NFTs, I thought that was like dumb because I was like, why would you want to buy a JPEG? But then when I realized like sort of like the abstract ideas behind that, where it's like because everything's digital, like we're talking, in front of a computer screen instead of like in person because it's like easier. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes sense that like there's going to be like digital artifacts from like our interactions from like digital life. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, because like for example, there was a thing called MySpace, which might be
Yeah.
before your time. I don't know if your parents used MySpace.
I know this, but yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but it disappeared. And honestly, if you think about it, it's kind of sad that there's no like digital artifacts from that era where you're like, oh yeah, this is when I was on MySpace, and this is like, you know, like now we're just getting that because I guess we're getting to like Web 3.0, so it's like getting more sophisticated, and more like it's getting to that next level, where this is definitely part of our life as humanity. So it makes sense that now it's like, all right, we've all collectively agreed that now we're going to do digital collectibles, because it makes more sense and all that stuff. And we want to have record of that. So yeah, so I just like, I like philosophy. So it intrigued me philosophically. And we've basically turned NFTs into like each drop we do is like a comic book basically. And also the ideas behind it is like there's like utility, which is like you're not just owning it but you're owning it with a purpose. Like you're getting like you I don't know, do you know like Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is like an NFT project, like
I
a
don't think
popular
so.
one? No. Yep.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it's like a profile pic NFT project where it's like these kids buy like an NFT from the project and they own it outright and they use it as their like profile pics for social media. But the cool thing is, since they own it outright, like it's like their own little like investment group. So they build up their brand. They're all building up their brand. So it's like 10,000 people building up their own brand. And now it's blowing up where like now like a Bored Ape like NFT is like worth like this. I think it's like worth like hundreds of thousands at least. You know what I'm saying? Because like they've built themselves up, they've hyped themselves up, and they've become like a viable brand. Where even like I think Mountain Dew or something like that brought like or Arizona Iced Tea brought like a Bored Ape to like use as part of their like marketing and stuff. So it's so that aspect of it like intrigued me where I was like, oh, we could use this to promote the show because I've had fans who are just like, hey, can I be in an episode? And we're like, well, you're not funny. I mean, why would you be in, you're not active. But this will be a great passive way to have people like be a part of our show. Like, for example, like imagine Game of Thrones, right? Like imagine owning like a dragon NFT, and then like one of the main characters references your dragon NFT as referencing you, like, oh, who holds that? You know, and in like a subtle way, it could be like, I hold it. Yeah. And then maybe they could give you like gifts because you hold that. You know what I'm saying? Like a fan club. So that's why I'm using it. And we're because it's on blockchain, there's like the digital ledger. So you could just like trace who has it at that moment. And like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I'm also a stand-up comedian as well. And also like producer, like a content creator. But like basically that's like my big baby. Like I'm trying to get that on TV like within the next 6 months. And I'm doing like the NFT NYC convention coming up soon and stuff. And like, yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So this might answer a question for you though, but like basically, you know, if you're a comedian, you can't just do comedy. You have to have other stuff to put your comedy in. You know what I'm saying? There's stand-up comedy, but also there's also like comedy writing, there's content creation, there's like what you're doing, you know, like the publication. You just have to know, like, you just have to go for it and just take what you have, like your skill set, and apply it. You know what I'm saying? Don't just waste I started doing stand-up when I was 17 years old. And what sucks is like I believed in the system. I believe when they were saying, like, hey, yeah, if you jump through these hoops, sooner or later you'll get a cookie. That's a lie. They're not going to give you a cookie. They're only going to put you in where it's like they think you could fit in. You know, like whatever's apt for what they're trying to do. You know, so they're not going to look out for you, or they're not going to like search for you. You gotta just like create your own content, create your own vibe, create your own scene, and then let everything else like, you know, fall from that. You know what I'm saying? Like you just have to have like, what do you want to do in this industry, and just go for it. And then hopefully like with that drive, like things will happen, you know, like either you improve and then you move forward, or you just, you know, as long as you're having fun, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
It was cool. It was all right. I mean, it kind of gave me confidence to knowing that, like, oh, I'm not really wasting my time then, you know? I mean, again, like I got on that episode because Pete Holmes, the main guy, when he came to New York for the first time, he was like a micer, and I gave him one of his first spots on a real show. Because I've been doing this comedy since I was 17. I'm 40. So like I've been around for a while and stuff. And like yeah, so basically wanted to recreate his life. So he basically like was like, oh well, you know, I started out at Grizzly Pear, Todd was running it, let me just recreate that. So I got into that. At first I thought it was like a joke, because I was like, oh, are they trying to make fun of me or something? Because like you got hit up randomly. It was like from like an agent I never used. Like I never had like this manager who barely used me, who barely like got me gigs, and he just hit me up one day saying, hey, HBO's like wanted to reach out to you. And I'm like, what? And but it was the real deal. And then I worked with Apatow, which is really cool, you know. And again, like I figured, you know what, let me just do my thing, and then like, you know, just be myself. And yeah, it proved that it was pretty cool experience. I was pretty funny in it. I don't know if you saw the clip or whatever. Did you check out the
Did
episode?
not. I did not have time because I did not.
Yeah, it's only the first episode of
Yeah.
Crash. You just
I think I
watch
have
it.
seen it, or I don't know, but it was like a few years ago.
If you go on my IMDb, you can see the clip.
Yeah.
I don't even have to waste your time. They got canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did one of his episodes. That was it. So that's, you know,
Okay.
that was it. So I don't know. I mean, like I just did. It was like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. So, but yeah, Charles Gooden has like a web series. Another comedian with a web series. A lot of it's times it's like, you know, you do people's projects just to hone your you know, skills and talent and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Deepest darkest secrets. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty much of an open book, but maybe, who knows? Maybe I'm just hiding because I don't want you to know my weaknesses. How about that? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe like I don't know. Deepest darkest secret. I mean, I just don't really think like that. You know, I just don't really like. oh, I'm holding something so deep and dark that no one should know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I try to, I don't know, maybe because I've been like performing, like always like kind of open. But I mean, I'm sure there is something, but so like maybe it's like one of those like it's so deep that I don't even like know how to put it out yet. I don't know. Like, uh yeah, yeah. Well, we'll pass. We'll come back to that. Maybe I'd
Yeah.
ask you though, but you're too young to have deep dark
Yeah.
secrets. So, and if you do, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Like, keep it to yourself. Like, if you kill somebody, why would you tell me? I don't want to be part of that. Now
Yeah.
I'm involved. Now I'm an accessory. I don't want to be an
I
accessory.
won't tell you about that.
Good, good, good. That's my philosophy. You know what? Just do your thing. Just leave me out of it. Okay. Unless it's something cool, great. But you know what? Leave me out of it. I don't want to deal with your problems. I've got enough problems myself. Lay me out of it. That's my deepest, darkest secret. Leave me out of it. Okay. I want everyone to leave me out of it. Leave me. It's not really a secret. I think it's an open, pretty open with that. Oh man, I think all of them are dead probably, except like maybe let me see. Like I'd always say like Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Sam Kinison, George Carlin, and surprisingly, Andrew Dice Clay, you know, which was like one of the first comics I saw as a kid that made me like go, oh look. I think I was like 5 years old and he had a special on HBO and it was like a holidays at like my aunt's house or something. And I was like, yeah, I was like Christmas or something. And then I was just by myself, like watching TV because there's like no other kids yet in the party or whatever. And I saw like Dice doing his thing. And I was just like, whoa, you mean you could curse with nursery rhymes? I didn't know that. Game changer. Blew my mind. You mean Humpty? What? And then I tried to show people that, and then it turned to like real sex from like that was an HBO series where it was like this. It was really like it was weird. HBO was very weird back then, and everyone was like, "Whoa, is that what you want to show us? Like Real Sex 5 on HBO?" Like, and I was like, "No, there was this guy," and then they just thought I was a weirdo, which probably were right. Yeah, we've been doing that show for like 13 years now. And then the pandemic happened. We had to do it online. But now that the pandemic is less virulent, we're back live and we're doing like, we have like a comedy club right now at Adora Lane in Soho. We're doing it 3 days a week, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Oh man, there's a lot though, but I don't know. Can I say me?
Yes.
Yeah, me, my favorite comedian.
Who's
Yeah.
your second favorite?
Oh man. Let me see. I mean, they're all so good. I don't want to like ever like featured in our show.
Yeah. Metro.
John Laster, he's a really funny guy. He's a pro. Does everywhere. He was pretty funny in that. My favorites, Tony Woods, really good. What is Rick Shapiro, Rob Shapiro. My one of my Nick Albano, who's like a comedian writer. He's a friend of mine. He's also like one of my like writers when it comes to PN content. Like he's one of my like go-to guys. He's like my Larry David to my Seinfeld. But he's definitely one of my favorite. Like, even though he's not like into stand-up performances, he's like really funny to me. He's not just a comic, but he's like my type of comic.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but like someone's like kind of like so out there. It's like, oh yeah, I get it. Bob Bell, who's like a friend of mine, I do an IG live with every Thursday night, called Real Talk. He's great. He's like, he's like this funny old guy that's like, well, like Carlin-esque a little bit. But yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Rich James, who's my DJ, he's hilarious too. Yeah, I mean, if you want, you gotta like commit, like use like it depends on what you want to do in comedy. Just find like what you want to do and just go for that and hyper focus on that. Like if you want to be a comedic actor, hyper focus on that, do improv, join improv classes, network with actors, act, create content where you're, always on camera or whatever, what I'm saying, or in front of like, a lens. Like if you're a comedic writer, keep on writing, what I'm saying, write a blog, write a, medium, what I'm saying, or like whatever, what I'm saying. So yeah, just keep on like, just find out what you want to do specifically and hyper focus on that,
Mhm.
and also like I said, like just make sure it's fun for you, make sure like you're the type of comedy you want to see. Like if you're getting into comedy, you're probably going like, you know what, I could do better than that, like in your head, like you probably see yourself as like the ideal version of yourself as a comic, like you'd want to see. Like try to reach out for that, try to, like it takes years, it takes like performing, like stand up usually takes like 2 to 3 years just so you could get a footing of your like persona and your act. And of course you're writing too, but just to get that footing and like confidence, so we're like, all right, I'm an act now, I could tell these words and people will follow and laugh at these words, you know what I'm saying. I don't know, man. I don't go to airlines. I need to do more airlines. What's the deal with gas station food? That's a good question for me. But what's the deal with airline food? I don't
What do you
get
mean
it
as far?
either. Yeah, yeah. Do you fly a lot?
No, I mean not late, not at least lately.
I
The
thought you'd
last
be
few
post
years.
airline food because you're like, I thought they changed airline food by now, right? I thought that was like a big problem in the 80s, and then the airline food community addressed that, because I haven't been hearing about that much, but maybe they haven't. If it's still falling in your generation, we're like, yeah, man, airline food still sucks in 2021. And I'm an 18-year-old. So the more things change,
Yeah.
the more things stay the same.